We're starting a brand new series today, and it's entitled "Chase the Lion." And it's interesting. If you follow me on social media, recently my family and I took a vacation. We went on a fall break, and that was the book that I was reading. It's by an author and pastor and author, Mark Batterson, up in Washington, D.C. Phenomenal man of God, whom I really, really respect. I love what he's done. He's one of the first churches to meet in an actual movie theater. I mean, just really changed the game. He wrote a book prior to this one called "In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day." And my wife and I have the audio book, and so as we take road trips, we listen to it every now and again. That same message is so good. It's a great book. If you have time, I advise you to read it. The follow-up to that book is this book called "Chase the Lion." And it's really about, watch this, it's really about one main character, a guy by the name of Benaiah. Now let me tell you a little bit about Benaiah. Benaiah was one of David's soldiers who eventually became like the leader, the chief, if I can use a better term, he was like the general or the general of generals in Solomon's army. Now Benaiah, if you know anything about David had this mighty group of warriors. I mean, like hardcore warriors. I'm talking about he had guys that defeated 300 people and so by themselves. He had guys that defeated giants. I mean, he had some true hardcore guys. And there were three of them that a lot of you may know of, but Benaiah was not one of the three. He was a part of another special unit that we'll read about a little bit later on. But he's a part of another special unit he wasn't part of the main three, but he got more notoriety and more popularity and was more successful, the Bible says, than those three. If you read the Bible, it says that he wasn't the main three, but the feats that he did, the stuff that he accomplished. Matter of fact, he was not only a great warrior, the Bible tells us he was kind of handsome. He was good looking, so much so that the Queen of Sheba, when they came and she was in her chariot, she laid eyes upon Benaiah, and her first thought was that he was King David. He was just a good looking and strong and beautiful man, but he wasn't. He wasn't King David. And so Benaiah, this amazing man, if you read, there's not a whole bunch of stuff to find out about him. What you find out is in 2 Samuel chapter 23, verse 20, it says that Benaiah, he's the son of a priest. His father was a pastor. So he's a PK, if you will, all right? He was the son of a priest, and he's known for two major things. The first thing that he's known for is defeating a giant. Similar to what his own boss, King David, did with Goliath. He defeated a 7-foot tall giant with one weapon. No rocks, but just had one weapon. That's the first thing you know for him. He's also known for this. This is crazy. This is what the book is all about, Chase the Lion. He's also known for literally chasing a lion. No, I didn't say pussycat. I said a lion. Oh, a man-eater. Oh, king of the beasts. King of the jungle. Chased a lion into a pit and killed the lion. Yeah, I pause like that too. Like, that's crazy. Why? What's purpose? Were you going to eat him? Did you need the fur? Why'd you do it? Well, apparently what happened was he was out. This is legend, by the way. He was out and he noticed the tracks of the lion. And his first thought was, I've got to find him and kill him before he kills me. So I need to become the predator going after the predator and turn the predator into the prey. He seeks the lion. This is legend. The lion sees him. They lay eyes on each other. Now the lion is the king of the jungle. The lion is the king of beasts. They meet eye to eye. They stand and look at each other. They go and they go toward each other. Now, if I'm the lion, my first thought is, do you know that I'm a lion and you running after me? I got you by about 300-400 pounds. Are you crazy? Come on, little guy, come get some. So the lion's running toward him. He's running toward the lion. He pushes the lion into a pit, which is a well, if I may say that. It was a well, an empty, dried out well. They fall into the pit. Now, once again, I'm the lion. And I'm looking at Benaiah like, this dude really crazy. At this point, the king of beasts, I've got to be intimidated. So they're in the pit. And what do you think happens? Benaiah immediately attacks the lion. He attacks the lion. He saw the tracks. He says, I got to get him before he gets me. I'm going to go after him. I don't care about I'm going to put my own life. I may lose this battle with a 500-pound beast. I don't care if he weighed 200 pounds. The Bible says he did not, by the way. He was probably around my size, my height even. Maybe a little bit more muscular because he was tough. He was a soldier. Can you imagine for one moment Pastor Broderick, Santiago, with just a spear in my hand, chasing a lion down Oakdale Road? Absolutely. Thank you, Sam. I would not. It's crazy. But that's what happened that day. Now, this message that I'm going to share with you all, watch this. It's not about us doing crazy things and chasing a lion. Just like the book tries to tell us, and like the book, like the author and Pastor Mark Batterson try to explain to us, the book is not about let's go after chasing lions. It's about having the courage like Benaiah had and chasing our dreams. Chasing our dreams, running our dreams into the pit, facing them head on and saying, I am going to conquer my dreams no matter what circumstances may come. And that's what this series is about. Now, if you've been hanging out with me for the past 4 years as your pastor, if you've been listening to my podcasts and my sermons over the past 4 years as your shepherd, I will tell you, you will notice every year I do a series about dreams or purpose. Because here's the thing. This series, these next 4 weeks, I want to encourage you to dream bigger than you've ever dreamed before. I know y'all got some good dreams, but I want y'all to dream God dreams. Do you know the difference between a big dream and a God dream? The big dream says that this is a big dream, and if I do A, B, C, and D, I can achieve it. A God dream says, all I got is God, and that's the only way it's going to happen. And what I want y'all to do is put your big dreams aside and turn them in for an advance so that you can begin to dream God-sized dreams. Dreaming things that in your mind, in your family's mind, in your friend's mind, in your boss's mind are impossible. Why? Because you're not qualified, you don't have the money, you don't have the resources, you don't have the education, but I want you to know that God has put in each and every one of you a dream that you can achieve, but you've got to have the courage of Benaiah. And so today I want to talk to you all about, I want to kind of lift a burden. I want to kind of break down a wall. I want to kind of get you pointed in the right direction to pursuing your dreams. May I do that today, y'all? Stick with me. I promise it's going to be exciting. I promise you're going to get something. I promise you're going to leave this place feeling totally different than when you came in. The message today is entitled, Fear is Not a Factor. Now, I don't know about you, but I like reality TV. A little bit. And I'm not talking about reality TV like Real Housewives of whatever city they're in this week. I'm talking about reality, and I'm not talking about Jerry Springer or Maury Povich, the baby's not yours and all of this. No. I'm not talking about that reality TV. I'm talking about reality TV like American Gladiators. Yeah. I'm talking about reality series like Survivor. Yeah. I'm talking about reality series like Fear Factor. Now, I don't know about you, but that was a great show. I love that show. How many of y'all used to sit there and say, I wouldn't do that? Or how many of you say, I would do it? But you know what the prize was for people to do? Okay, some people didn't raise their hand. Let me explain what Fear Factor was. Fear Factor was this show, basically where 3 contestants competed, right? The main prize in the end was $50,000. In this economy, that's not a lot of bread. Okay, once the government take theirs, it's about $25,000. Okay, and then you already done spent that. I mean, you done spent that 3 times over, right? So it's not a lot of money. But here's what was going on. 3 contestants compete. And each round somebody was eliminated. And you had to do daring things, okay? Sometime it would start off with eating weird stuff. It was physical and it was a psychological thing. Oh man, it was so good. Why did that show end? That was a good show. Anyway, so I'm gonna be nasty because the show was kind of nasty. But like you would have to eat stuff like bull testicles. Now in certain places that's a delicacy. But on Fear Factor, it's a delicacy when it's cooked. You understand? Fear Factor, you eating them raw. Okay, and you had to eat testicles or eat meat with maggots on it, huh? Well, eyeballs. Come on. He with me. You were a fan of Fear Factor, right? And then if you made it past the eating crazy stuff round, then you had to do like a physical challenge. So one of the things I saw, man, it was crazy. Where you went into, they had these people go into you were on a wheel. Right, they laid you on the wheel and you spin around, and wherever it landed, you had to do that thing. Okay, some of the things they had to do, like one was like if you landed on it, you get your hair cut bald. And for guys, you're like, whatever, But for a lady who has beautiful locks, ooh, that's rough. Right? Oh, my lock. I just got my hair did for the show because I knew I was going to be on national TV. I mean, I know it's going to be tore up in the end, but at least I'm going to start off pretty. Okay? And so to have her locks cut is a major deal. Another one was like if you ended up, you had to go into a gas chamber and they threw cans of tear gas in there for you and you had to stay in there for a certain amount of time. You couldn't come out. It was a container. And I was like, ooh, man, for $50,000, I'm not going to risk my life. I'm not going to risk my life. Hair, okay, hair don't care. I'm losing mine right now anyway. That's why I cut my hair low. So that wouldn't matter to me. The gas chamber, no. Then I saw one, watch this. Okay, and this is my last story. It's just so good. Y'all ever see the one where you had to lay in the pit of snakes? For us, y'all remember? Ooh, wee! And you see them hissing, or the one with the Costa Rican cockroaches? Woo, wee! All right, I'm done. But isn't it amazing that these people risk it all for $50,000? But I guarantee they wouldn't risk that much for their dream. And the thing is, we were excited about that show. I knew I was. I was like, man, but would I go and lay in a pit of snakes for my dream? Would I step out there on faith and eat some Costa Rican cockroaches for my dream? Would I do something crazy like chase a lion into a pit to conquer the dream that God has placed in me? Fear, my brothers, is not a factor. You know why most people don't achieve their dreams? And I've done research and I've searched all over. There's several companies that have done data to prove this. The number one reason out of every company that I research who just does and receives data, the number one reason that people do not achieve their dreams is because fear is a factor. Fear is a factor. You know what? You know why? You know what we fear? I'm gonna give you a few things we fear. This is what we fear. This is why we don't step out there. This is what we fear. We fear failure. Number one thing we fear. We fear failure. And may I offer to you all, nobody in this world has been successful without failure. The Wright brothers invented the planes and all of this stuff. How many of them crashed before it got up in the air? The march that Dr. Martin Luther King, we all get to see the freedom and all this stuff. How many times did the march not work before it actually worked? How many times did they have to press the restart button? How many times did they have us say, hey, we're going to have a rally and only 10 people show up? See, we don't hear that. All we see is the highlight reels. I've spoken with real, live civil rights activists who were there and said, we had meetings in churches and nobody showed up. We had to change our strategy in order for that dream to become a reality. How many times did Michael Jordan have to shoot free throws before he could master becoming one of the best NBA players of all time? I don't care if you argue with me, that's the truth. He was actually cut from his high school basketball team. Freshman. Thank you, sir. Look at that. Somebody knows basketball. How many times did Muhammad Ali have to take a hit to the head before he realized I got to do something else? We've all started things and failed. Failure is part of success. You can't separate the two. You have to try, and try again. One of the things we fear is failure. The second thing we fear is judgment. You know, like I know, that dream you have, you are not qualified for. You know, like I know, you don't even know the first step in achieving it. And you're afraid to step out there and look silly in front of everybody else, because if this thing fail, you don't want to hear that person say, I told you so. Can I preach for a little while? We fear failure. We fear judgment. Guess what else we fear? That's going to trip y'all out. We actually fear success. Yeah. We actually fear this one thing working and it's successful, and it's like, okay, that worked, but now I've got to live up to the hype. I don't think that I have the muster to do that. I fear this thing actually working out. Can I have a pastoral confession, please? I've said this before, and if you're new here, don't judge me too harsh. But when this church started, we started out of a situation that happened where one church closed, and we called God and asked God what we should do, and God said start a church. And there was a part of me saying, okay, maybe after a year this thing will fizzle, because if God forbid this is successful, I totally don't feel qualified right now. Yes, I went to seminary, but that was only because I wanted to learn something. I didn't want to be a pastor. I didn't want to be a preacher. I want to just learn. I want to expand my capacity and learn more about our faith. So early stages, not Mosaic Church. When we decided to become Mosaic Church, I was all the way in. But while we were still the other church, part of me was like, man, hopefully this doesn't work, so then I can just go like everybody else went. And it wasn't because, watch this, it wasn't because I didn't want it to succeed. It was because I was afraid it would succeed and I wouldn't live up to the hype. And some of y'all got these dreams, and you know, like, oh man, if I step out and do this, this is going to change the world. I've got a best-selling novel in me, but man, you know why so many artists only have one hit? You know why? They can't live up to the hype of the hit number 2. They can't. And you know what happens? They come out with that second hit. That first hit was so dope. It was the jam. It's still your jam. It's going to be your mama and them jam. It's the jam of all jams. And listen, it wasn't their best work, but it was your jam. And they're saying, wow. So they put way too many creative elements in it, and they release it saying, this is the one. This is better than that first jam. And they release it and it's a flop. Why? Because that first song was pure. It was innocent. They just threw it out there. They didn't even think it was going to be a hit from the get-go. And everybody loved it, and it became everybody's jam. And now the success of it has caused them to not give their very best because of the hype. That's good. We fear success. I know it's crazy to believe, but it's the truth. We fear success. Why? Because we fear we can't live up to our own hype. Here, let me help you out with some things today. There was a man that you all may know, but didn't know this about him. There was a man who feared the dark. He feared night. He feared being alone in a dark place. But you know what he did? He didn't just sit there and allow fear to keep him in that place of fearing dark places. He says, I'm going to create something where it'll illuminate the night in my room all night. I know there's something that already exists, but I'm going to fix it so that it never goes out. This man that I'm speaking about is a guy by the name of Thomas Edison. In case you don't know who he is, he didn't invent the light. Matter of fact, the first patent for the light was a black man, if we can be honest with it. But he didn't perfect it. Thomas Edison came behind him and says, I'm going to create something so that the light stays illuminated until I cut it out. Now, the one that the brother created first, it actually had it was gas. So once the gas ran out, the light went out. Okay, so Thomas Edison says, this is not enough. Let me create something so that I can control when to turn it off and when to turn it on. Why? Because I'm afraid of the dark. So he took his fear and said, I'm going to create something different so I no longer have to fear. Come on, somebody. There's something in you that you're fearing, and God is saying you can be the change agent of that thing that's got you trimmed up in fear. Ooh, I feel like preaching a little bit this morning. some of the greatest accomplishments, some of the greatest inventions, some of the greatest moves. Steve Jobs was out before Windows came out. He was out before there was a Bill Gates and all of them. But Bill Gates said, man, this Apple thing, this Macintosh thing is good, but it's slow, it's big, it's bulky, it's too much. I've got to create something easier to use, faster with information, something better. So him and his friends got together and they began to think and dream, and hear that word, began to think and dream and try this and try that. After one failed attempt, after another failed attempt, after worrying about people judging them and casting judgment and laughing at them for the failures that they've already created, all of a sudden Bill Gates comes up with what? Windows. And it was incredible. Had Steve Jobs like, whoa, where these guys come from? Dropouts, mind you, coming up with this masterpiece that I mentioned that Bill Gates dropped out. Y'all didn't know that he didn't finish college. Yeah, in case y'all didn't know that. So don't think that you need an education to change the world with your idea, with your dream. Don't think that you need a whole lot of money. He didn't have that. He didn't come from wealth. He had a dream. And friends who had a similar dream. Friends who believed the same dream. And they got together and they took this thing by storm. By storm. Had Steve Jobs in there like, whoa, wait a minute. This is all too fast. Okay. I need you, and you. Y'all a whole bunch of smart people. What can we do to defeat this? And you know what they did? They looked at the flaws and fixed the flaws and made it better. Now MacBook Pro is one of the top selling things. Now, of course, there's still this battle back and forth. But my whole point, it started with a dream. He dreamed of a faster and better way to use technology. He dreamed of it. He dreamt of it. And you, my brothers and sisters, have a dream that will change the world, that will change and shift your community, that will change and shift. Watch this. Your dream could be something as small as raising a good Bible-fearing family. And you know what? I know that sounds small, but for you, that may really mean it can only happen with the power and grace of God. You can't do it by yourself. That may really mean that for you to see all that you want to see happen in your family, for you to see the greatness in everybody, for your family members to see the greatness in themselves, it really may require a move of God. That may be your dream, but you, hallelujah, can do it. You've got to have the spirit of Benaiah, the courage of Benaiah. You've got to look at that dream and say, dream, it's either me or you. Either you're going to kill me or we're going to work this thing out together and change the world. I am not going to let fear prevent me from achieving my God-given dream. Here's the other thing that we worry about. Money. Resources. That's the other thing we fear. That stops us. Fear is number one. Number two is resources. We don't have the resources. This is why we don't pursue our dreams. Let me tell you something. You will never have the resources. Let me tell you something. People, and please don't take offense if this is you. I'm not judging anybody. There are only a very small minority of lottery winners that are still successful today. Very small number. Remember I told you I like reality shows? That was one I liked. I love to see how these lottery, I don't know if you ever saw it. It was on one of those Lifetime shows. I don't know. But anyway, they had a series on all of these lottery winners who won millions. And it talked about, well, what do they do with their money? Because, I've never played it. I've never spent one single penny on the lottery. I haven't. But I always dream when I see those big numbers, like, man, what would I do with 123 million? And I would do the same thing. I'm just going to be honest. I would do the same thing, right, that the other people done. Lose it. Because if I got $123 million, can I be real for half a second? Let me just sit right here and be real with y'all for half a second. If I got $123 million, my prayer life going to change. Oh, it done got quiet in here. Your prayer life going to change. Why? You ain't going to depend on God like you used to. I got 123 million. I could do whatever I want. And what you going to do? The same thing that the people who won that lotto did. Lose it. I'm being honest. My prayer life would probably change, just like yours would. We real people here. I know I'm the pastor. I shouldn't say that stuff, but I like to be transparent. Money changes us. The Bible tells us not money is the root of all evil. What? The love of money is the root of all evil. And when we love money, and that's not saying, oh, I love money, I'm going to shower in it, I'm going to burn it like Floyd Mayweather. No. That's not love of money. That's lust of money. Love of money is dependence on money and not dependence on God. Yeah. And if you have $123 million, you will feel in your carnal mind that I don't have to depend on God. And what you're going to do is Ray, Pookie, Nay, all of them going to find you. They going to all need some money. You're going to give them some money. You're going to buy your mama a house because you always wanted to buy her a house. Then you're going to buy her a car. You're going to buy your daddy something if he shows up. Come on, I can talk about it a little bit. You're going to give your church some money. You're going to give it all out. You're going to have cousins you ain't never know you even had before show up and say, I'm about to die. I got 3 kidneys, and I know most people ain't born that way. And one has to be removed, and I need $5 million to do it. Can I be? And you're going to spend 123. Why? Because your dependence will no longer be on God. It will be on dead presidents, not a dead and risen king. May I give you some dream nuggets for dream chasers? Where are the dream chasers at? Where are my dream chasers at? I got some dream nuggets for you. Here's the first dream nugget I want to give you. You ready for this? One thing you need to know. Don't be ruled by fear, but ruled by the power of God. If money is your issue, I want to tell you something right now. Watch this. If money is your issue, can I say this again? If money is your issue, watch this. Provision follows purpose. If money is your issue, get your purpose in line. Provision follows purpose. Start pursuing your dream. Start stepping out there and doing what God has purposed in you to do. Start walking out there with your chest up. Start chasing your dream and watch the money be right behind you saying, hold on, let me catch up with you. You no longer have to chase money because you're a dream chaser. You're chasing dreams and the money is chasing you, dream chaser. Can I tell y'all something? Didn't I say earlier I didn't want to do this? Didn't I say earlier that a part of me wished that this thing would fail? Didn't I say earlier that I just wish that maybe this thing won't work out because I was afraid of the success? So I stepped out there and started pursuing God's dream because Broderick's dream was never the pastor. Broderick wanted to be an international musician, which I was, by the way. I composed for Emmy Award-winning movies and Broadway shows. I still receive a check from both. I'm not bragging, just telling you about my God. So anyway, I didn't want to do this preaching thing. I wanted to continue with my music thing. But once I stepped out there and said, this is the dream God has for me, sat my wife down and says, honey, life is going to be a little bit different. We may be in a poorhouse for a while, but this is God's dream. Let's just go and see what happens. The minute I started doing like this, hello, sir, I wanted to give you a check for $500 just because you're doing what God said you're doing. What's in the mailbox today? $1,000 just for doing what you're saying God is saying you to do. Let me tell you something. I don't take a salary from this church. God takes care of me. I'm telling you the truth right now. I don't work a full-time job. God takes care of me. Unexpected blessings. Why? Because I am living out the vision of God. And as I'm living out the vision of God, provision is right on me like, here, let me give you something. Come on. Come on. You step out there and begin to fulfill your dream, watch provision catch up with you. You've been running like this and provision like, hold up. Why? Because you're not chasing provision, you chasing the dream. And Benaiah looked in that lion's face. He says, I'm going to chase you, lion. I'm going to chase you. I'm not worried about fear. I got you. I know I'm going to kill you. I know I'm going to defeat you. I know that I'll be victorious. This is why I chase you. And you need to be the same way. I know I'll fulfill my dreams. I know if I chase it with passion and determination, God has me. Whoa! Provision follows purpose and passion. You know why we stop dreaming? You know why we get afraid when we dream? And we know it's a God-given dream? This is why. Because God gives us the dream, but he doesn't give us the details. We're spoiled here in this country. We need to know what's going to happen next. I was playing a gig the other day with a musician, and he was a new musician to the band. And we were at the airport, and he was playing bass, and he was struggling. And I said, it's all right, brother. Just slow it down a little bit. He says, oh, man, but this is what the note says. I says, I'll tell you what, you playing because you know what's coming next. But I dare you to close your eyes and feel where the music is taking you. And I'm telling you right now, I dare you to stop thinking about what God is going to do next. Focus on right now and just keep on moving. This is why you don't move. You don't know what God is doing next. But you got to remember Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, and they are good, not for disaster. If you know that and that alone, that should compel you to just keep on doing the running, man. Second nugget I want to give my dream chasers, a dream nugget for dream chasers. We always talking about culture and complaining. Here's what I want to tell you. You need to create culture. Don't complain about it. You need to create culture. Don't complain about it. I know that's weird to you, but let me explain it. I just talked about Bill Gates and what he did. Instead of complaining how slow internet was, instead of complaining how slow the processing speeds were, instead of complaining what he did, he shifted culture with his dream. The same way that the Wright brothers said, when people laughed at them, said, man, humans will never fly. We don't have wings. God didn't make us that way. He thought outside the box. He says, well, I didn't say I was going to put wings on us. I'll put us in a situation where we're in something that has wings and we can fly. Y'all got to catch the difference. And I'm saying to you right now, instead of complaining about the stuff you see, instead of complaining about not having this or not having that, you need to be creative enough to do it. Why do I say that? Because your dream is connected. You know what a dream is? A dream is something in you that God has put in you. Watch this. That somebody somewhere needs to hear. Your dream is something that somebody somewhere needs to hear. Your dream in you is in you for somebody to hear, that will change them, that will inspire them to also be a dream chaser. Instead of complaining about culture, change it. Create it. Create it. Create it. Create something new. Think outside of it. Watch this. Too often, the church complains about culture instead of creating it. The energy we spend on criticism is being stolen from creativity. It's sideways energy, y'all. It's sideways energy. We need fewer commentators and more innovators. Y'all might want to tweet that. Fewer commentators and more innovators. The innovators are those we call dream chasers. Dream chasers. All right. Let me move to the next point. Y'all done got quiet on me. The third thing you need to do is pursue with relentless determination and reckless abandon. Pursue with relentless determination and reckless abandon. It done got quiet, so let me explain what that means. Benaiah was relentless in making sure that at the end of this battle between him and a 500-pound beast, that he would win. He was determined. I am determined to win. Matter of fact, the only way this is going to end is with me over this lion. I'm determined. I'm relentless. I'm going to do it. Not only did he say that, he says, matter of fact, I see these paws. He's somewhere around here. Let me find him. He did it with reckless abandon. He didn't think about his life. He didn't think about what would happen. He already had the determination to kill the lion. So I'm going to put my life on the line and go after a 500-pound beast, judging upon the size of the paws. And then when I encounter him, I'm gonna try to kill him. Now, can I share something with y'all? Benaiah didn't have a strategy. The Bible tells us that he encountered the lion. Well, legend says he encountered the lion. The lion charged after him. It just so happened to be a well. His strategy wasn't, I'm going to find the lion, then I'm going to have him chase me to the well, then I'm going to push him in there, then I'm going to jump down there and kill him. That wasn't his strategy. His strategy was, I'm going to use whatever's around me to defeat this lion, to win. I'm going to, whatever it takes. He didn't know that he would have the access to a well to fall in there. Watch this. Here's a crazy thing. He didn't know what would happen once he got in the well. If anything, Broderick, Maurice, Santiago, I'm thinking, that's me by the way, I'm thinking like, if I fall in this pit with this lion, he got me by about 300-400 pounds. Chances are I'm going to lose. All he has to do is lunge upon me. If I miss, one miss, he got me. One mistake, he got me. I'm stuck in this pit. There's no way out. My first thought is retreat, run for my life, because I know this lion will get me. But no, not Benaiah. He looks at that lion and says, come on, come on. Oh, there's a pit. Yeah, come on. I'm going to push you in the pit. He gets in there with the pit. No strategy. He just, as soon as he gets in there, probably, I imagine Benaiah, because he went with reckless abandon, I imagine them falling, and Benaiah like, And when by the time they land, he finished them. That's just me. You know, Brian, I like comic books and stuff, so I'm always thinking crazy like that. I imagine that the fight, the stabbing, the defeat happened on the way down in the pit. Here's what I'm telling you. You have to pursue your dream with relentless determination, saying that I don't care what people say. I don't care what they do. I don't care how people look at me. I don't care how educated I am or not. I am going to go. Nothing's going to stop me. Nothing's going to deter me. Nothing's going to keep me away from pursuing my God-given dream. Relentless. I am not ever going to quit. I don't care if I'm beat down. I don't care. I'm going to keep on pursuing it because I know this is a God-given dream. Reckless abandonment. Listen, I'm abandoned. I'm going to get out there. Judge me all you want. Look at me, y'all. I'm doing this thing God has called me to do. I know you don't agree with it, but you don't know what my God has told me. I know you don't understand, but you don't live in the mind that God has given me. I know you don't feel it, but you don't possess the heart that I have for God. I know you don't understand it, but it's not meant for you to understand. Why? Because it's a God-given dream, not a dream given by man. Judge me, persecute me, hang me, hate me, stop being my friend. Good, because you was dead weight anyway. Pursue with relentless determination and reckless abandon. And while we're there, let me talk about the fourth point. Beware of dream killers. Beware of dream killers. Beware of dream killers. There's a story of a man in the Bible by the name of Joseph. He was a dreamer. One of my favorite people in the Bible. I love the way he dreamed. He was a younger brother to older brothers, and God had given him this dream, telling him where he was going to be. Well, this young, happy whippersnapper, he's like, hey, I got this dream, and check this out. He went to his brother, even his daddy. He even had to tell his daddy, because he had a dream. Like, okay, big brothers, I'm going to rule over y'all. I know, it's not me, it's God. Now imagine your little brother coming to you or your little sister, I'm going to rule you. You're going to work for me one day. I won't tell you what I would say. It wouldn't be appropriate. But I'm like, please. You better quit it. Please. Imagine your child coming to you saying, I'm going to be your king one day. I just look at Junior. Now I'm biblical. If Junior said that, I would say, I hope so. I hope that you are my president one day. I hope that you are my pastor one day. I hope that you are indeed my shepherd one day. But before I knew Jesus, I'm like, sit your little butt down, boy. You don't know nothing, ain't been nowhere, can't even pee straight. And here Joseph is having to tell his daddy and his siblings, one day I'm going to rule over you. Oh, they were jealous. They plotted to kill the young boy, and they didn't succeed in that. And then once they tried to kill him because he was a dreamer, and it wasn't his fault because it was what God gave him, and he just wanted to share it because he was overzealous. He went and shared it with his brothers. They tried to kill him, but he had one brother who was like, well, let's don't kill him. Let's make it look like we killed him. Let's set up the scene with his jacket and let's put him in this barrel or whatever, and then just sell him off. So they sold him off into slavery. Told daddy, yeah, man, you know what? He got killed by some lions or something. See, what had happened was, one of those situations. So he sold off into slavery, Joseph, just because he has a dream, and he begins to go, and he's a slave, and then they find out that he can interpret dreams, and so somebody that's with a higher ranking official says, hey, there's this guy that can interpret dreams, and I'm kind of paraphrasing it. So let me just explain to you. Let me just break it down like this. His brothers, he told his brothers, I'm going to leave, I'm going to rule over you. That's the dream God gave me. He's sold into slavery. He ends up being friends with the king, but then the king's old lady was like, hey, man, you kind of hot. Let's do the thing, whatever. And he's like, no, I don't want to do the thing because I don't get down like that. And she's like, no, please. Okay, so she don't want to do the thing. One of the most important officials in the land. Why? Because God gave him a dream. Dream killers tried to kill, but he did not stop telling his dreams. He could have been like, oh, I'm not going to ever tell anybody about what the dreams I have ever again. But he says, no, God gave this to me and I will do it no matter what it costs, no matter what it means, my reputation, my own life, because God has given it to me, I will do it. This man used what God gave him in the form of dreams and became one of the most important officials only under the king. The king, the important, this cat was right under him. And it all started with a dream. Dream killers will tell you you're not qualified. Dream killers will tell you, you sure you want to do that? Dream killers will look you in your face and say, remember that last business you started, what happened? Dream killers may be the closest people you know. Dream killers may sleep in the same bed that you sleep in at night. Dream killers may be in the hallway down the hall. Dream killers may be mama, daddy, cousin. Them dream killers could be some of the closest people you know. Beware of dream killers. Can I fix something? That don't mean dream killers are bad people. If I slayed every dream killer in this church, we wouldn't have a church. I'm not calling people out. But as a visionary of this house, I share some things that seem impossible, that seem unattainable. But see, that's the thing about being a shepherd. God lets me see 5 to 10 years down the road, but you can only see what he has here. This is why he makes me the visionary. This is why he makes me the shepherd. And sometimes when I put those things out, they're like, I don't think we should do that, Pastor. I don't think we should do that. And it's like, but this is what God is saying. Maybe my timing is off, but I know this is where God is leading us. Dream killers ain't always bad people. They just can't see what God has only allowed you to see. Don't brush them off. Watch this. Don't brush them off. Don't judge them. Don't do that. You just keep on moving. You just keep on moving. Now, there's a difference between dream killers and haters. Okay, dream killers are the ones that just tell you, I don't know if that's the right thing. Are you sure? Though they're just skeptics. That's all a dream killer is a skeptic. But the hater is really just trying to tear you down, looking at you like you ain't pleased, boy. You ain't never done nothing, and you ain't gonna do nothing now. Big difference between a hater and a dream killer. I just want to make that clear because guess what? You have probably been a dream killer. Yeah. Unintentional. I've been a dream killer. I've been a dream killer. It's okay. At the end, I get to look back and say, man, but I'm not a bandwagon, though. I'm not a bandwagon person. So I'm being honest with you. Somebody, if I say, man, I didn't think that would work, and then all of a sudden it worked, I just say, man, I'll be honest, I didn't think that was going to work, but I'm glad you kept on pressing. Amen. I'm not going to be like, man, I told you the whole time. Quick story, then I'm done. I remember getting my license in upstate New York. Never forget this. It's a funny story to me. Hopefully y'all laugh too. And in New York, you don't drive with cones. We don't take the road test with cones. You on the street with real cars. I'm being honest. Ain't no parking lot. No, you on the street in New York. And I was taking my driving test, and I was getting ready to, and I was practicing with my grandfather. God rest his soul. He's in heaven now. And strong Spanish accent. And so I'm practicing, and it's a big deal to parallel park in New York. If you can't parallel park, you will automatically fail in New York. I'm just being honest. You hit that curb, you just fail. And so I'm practicing, and I'm nervous because I'm in the car with my grandfather, and so I'm trying to get it in, and bam, I hit the curb. And this is just an hour before I have to take the road test. So finally, we go, and he says, well, son, I tell you something. Maybe you're not getting this time, you're getting next time. Maybe you're not getting this time, you're getting next time. I said, well, I think I can do it. He said, it's okay. You're doing good, but, you got to try, you can't hit the curve. It's okay. You do it next time. So we go, get to the place, I take the test, and I'm getting up there, and it's time to parallel park. And my grandfather, he sees somebody he knows out there, by the way, and they're talking, whatever. He says, yeah, I'm bringing my grandson to take his road test. So we get there, I do the road test, I pass. I get there, I pull up to my grandfather, I get out the car. He said, well, I says, He said, oh, it's okay. And I says, no, I passed. He said, I told you you're going to do it. I told you you can do it. That's a true story, I swear. He tells his friend, hey, my grandson, I told you he's going to do it. He's going to do it. He do it. I told you. Bandwagon, man. Listen. Final thing, resist the urge to bow out, no matter what it looks like, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how painful it gets, no matter how much stress it causes you, no matter how much money it costs you, no matter how much time it costs you. Resist the urge to bow out. Do not bow out. Norman Cousins says this, and our worship team can come. Norman Cousins says this: the tragedy of life is not death, but it's what we let die inside of us while we yet live. I'll say that again. You might want to write that down. That's good. The tragedy of life is not death, but yet what we let die inside of us while we yet live. As long as you're breathing air, inhale, exhale, you still can pursue your dream. Whatever that is you had on your heart to do, do it. Psalms 34:4 says this: I prayed to the Lord and he answered me. He freed me from all of my fears. Fear is not a factor for a dream chaser. Psalms 56:3-4 says this: but when I am afraid, I will put my trust in you. I praise you, God, for what he has promised. I've trusted in God, so why should I be afraid? What can mere mortals do to me? Fear is not a factor for dream chasers. And dream chasers realize this: when you understand what your purpose is in life, turbulence doesn't stop you from pursuing it. Our worship team will